Tonight, has Q's latest access to Google forced James Clapper to come out and say that he wants Robert Mueller to end the Russia investigation? Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, every one of these episodes, I start by thanking all of my subscribers because you guys are the lifeblood, the fuel of this channel, and I just am so thankful to each and every one of you. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, the latest Q posts, we're going to cover them. They've been dropping today, and I'm sorry for the later video, but there's so much stuff going on today. I mean, talk about a week of incredible bombshell information. First, you have the press conference with Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and others this morning, basically outlining the fact that all of these crimes were committed by the FBI and the DOJ in the processing and investigating of Hillary Clinton and her emails, and just basically they laid out everything. And then again, later that day, you had the Senate Judicial Committee meeting in order to interview Inspector General Mike Horowitz and FBI Director Christopher Wray with regard to the Inspector General's report and its findings. And inside of that 3-hour session that I watched, there was a litany of questions, but most of the questions were basically, you have your Democrat narrative where they're saying their big claims are basically that President Trump somehow has been colluding with Russia, and him firing James Comey was the right, or was evidence that he is trying to cover up his crimes, and that he's trying to do it with Mueller in the same way. And it's just crazy, right? Listen, now we'll get into that in a little bit later as we go through this. But first off, somebody wanted to point out that the D that we were kind of trying to figure out what it might mean. I've come to think one of the more probable things in my mind is that it stands for Devin, as in Devin Nunes, which is why he's taking so much heat from the press lately. But this is where we left off. If you guys want to get a good idea, I'd encourage you to watch these last two videos because they kind of go with each other. They have basically all the information of the last few posts, and if you want to go back and watch further, I certainly encourage you to do that. And if you don't know what Q is, come here to this landing page and watch this video, and then you can get informed on that. So those are great resources if you want to go back and review them. But we're going to go from basically here forward, talking about, well, it kind of ties back to this, but D was the message that was being sent, I'm suspecting at this point, to Devin Nunes, saying morning sun brings heat, full moon coming, undiscovered stars learn, missions forward Q. And that would make total sense given the incredible amount of information that's coming out today. And it's even coming out today that James Comey is under investigation for perjuring himself in front of Congress when he lied to Congress and said that he did not leak classified information, when in fact he not only leaked classified information, but he used an FBI resource to leak that classified, or FBI employee to leak that classified information. And both he and Andrew McCabe allegedly knew together that they had both been basically undermining the investigation into President Trump and trying to plant false reasons to start the investigation. There's so much corruption here, it's crazy. We're going to go through it. But first, we're going to talk about what Q says here. He gives two links. The first link is to this article from Iran Daily saying official Iran should attract small, medium-sized European firms. So they're very, very keen on the expansion from European Union into their economic sector. And this was all a part of the negotiated deal that was given by Obama to Iran. And the whole point of the negotiated deal was to sell access to the European Union in exchange for kickbacks, basically, allegedly, to the Clinton Foundation and other organizations. And like Q has told us, the slush funds and all the other stuff that exists for these politicians who seem to be above the law and don't seem to follow the same laws that we do. So obviously, that is what my initial take is on that article. And then the next one is another article that Q wants to point our attention to, saying the EU is taking steps to protect companies in Iran. And this is an article that was just posted on the 11th, so a few days ago. what the article is basically going into is the fact that the EU is taking measures to protect companies investing in Iran that were a part of promises made during the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which is the name for the Iran deal that was given by the Obama administration. And why is this important? Because we're in the process. We've basically ripped up the deal, and Iran is demanding that the deal be honored. But the reality is that the deal was completely one-sided. It basically allows, after a certain amount of time, Iran to develop a nuclear program, and really doesn't put any lasting policies in place that would keep them from developing a nuclear program in the future, and while at the same time having their more conservative factions inside of their own parliament yelling "Death to America" and burning American flags. So this is a problem. And oh yeah, great job, President Obama. You did a really great job with this deal, he said sarcastically. Because look at what is happening. These people, those hardliners in Iran still despise America. I'm not saying the Iranian people, most of them probably just want freedom and peace and prosperity. But the problem is just like in America, just like here in America, the elites, the top level officials who are corrupt, who are acting out of their own basic greed and their own dereliction of duty and inability to perform the duties as prescribed by their office. These individuals who've sold us out, these individuals who have concocted these elaborate conspiratorial schemes in order to defraud the U.S. government, these individuals who are guilty of having complete bias and malice toward the administration of equality in the law. So, listen, this is what we're up against, and it's the same thing as in Iran with the hardliners who can't stand America and hate us and believe that we are its enemy fully from here to the end of time. And it's hard. We're not going to be able to really win hearts and minds if we're just going over there and giving them sunset clauses in deals where they can just do whatever they want and just walk away from the deal whenever they want at any given time. So that, to me, in and of itself, is the reason why the JCPOA was a failure. And not only was the JCPOA, which was the Iran deal, a failure, it was actually an intentional failure in order to undermine the power of the United States and to sell access to the Iranian economy to the European Union through kickbacks to personal politicians, to politicians' own personal foundations, apparently. And that's the allegations being made, for the most part, surrounding what's going on with this. So let me tell you guys, this is real. So with that being said, Q says, money not security, development prevention, owned politicians returning to the news. Q. And that's exactly what I've just laid out. This is what Q's saying it was about money, it wasn't about security. The whole nuclear development prevention thing was the ruse that they use, right? The owned politicians, the people who are selling us out, they sold access to these deals to other companies, to mega national super global companies. Listen, this is the tip of the iceberg. It gets even worse the more you dig and the deeper you dig. So you guys keep digging with me here, and we're going to uncover this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about what that's saying. Otherwise, we're going to move on. Now, the next one is a Q posting. He posted this ANON, who basically, it's like a screenshot of the ANON here, who writes, probably going down the wrong road here, but Q post about sun, moon, etc. Elon Musk, heat, Tesla cars exploding, moon, full moon, 627, 628, stars, mask, a Musk B-Day, mission, SpaceX launch 629. Don't know if the date means anything other than pointing to Musk. Raw speculation at this point. Anybody have info on Elon Musk? Seems to be Eric Schmidt versus Elon Musk re AI or artificial intelligence. Tesla cars exploding. Any info about who was killed in more of these? Links to anyone in cabal. Would Musk be someone who might testify about something? Fraud in the government handouts for alternate energy. Anyone? Bueller. It's kind of a joke off Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But it says message not for Anons. Huh. That to me is striking, and that's what pointed me originally to think that the D now is most likely, in my opinion, may mean Devin, as in that was a message for Devin Nunes. But people have brought a lot of other connections too. They've said that the D is just a reference back to Trump, as in D equals 4, and uh, but there's a lot of different theories as well that I could go through, but I'm not going to go through each one. Suffice to say that this is some kind of coded message, and it would make a lot of sense. Morning sun brings heat is pretty obvious because we've seen the heat that's come today as soon as the morning broke here in our news cycle, where you just saw these, like what I'm going to go over with the House or the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing with Christopher Wray and Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General and the Director of the FBI, and also the press conference with Representative Gates and Representative Jim Jordan and other House representatives who basically outlined the full scope of the Inspector General's report, and what that if the media is going to report that there was no, like, the bias didn't have any effect on the outcome of the investigation. If they're going to report that, which we know is a lie, pretty much. I mean, at this point, you cannot read through Peter Strzok and Lisa Page's text, realizing that this man is involved in running the highest level investigation into the Hillary Clinton servers, for example, the emails that disappeared. This Peter Strzok was the man running that investigation. And the whole time, all the way back to 2015, he's talking with Lisa Page and others at the FBI and the DOJ about how much they despise Trump, how they think he's an idiot, how they think that they'll stop him, that they'll not let him become president, that they're going to take out an insurance policy, that they're actively working against him, that they're in some sort of resistance. And there was even a text way back that everyone seems to skim right over now, that had suggested that they may be involved in some kind of secret society that was involved in a more broader conspiracy against the president. But now that this has all become fact, now here's the icing on the cake. So listen to this. As soon as we start uncovering the truth, what does the media do? Look at this. Trump administration could be holding 30,000 border kids by August, officials say. So now they're calling Trump this child abuser because he's separating children from their families at the border, a practice that's been done by every other president before him, mind you. And it's not that he's purposefully separating these children. And I have to get this out there. Guys, this is their spin, this is their diversion, this is them trying to get you to look that way when you should be looking this way, because look, they're trying to tell you, oh, Trump's being a child abuser, he's locking kids up in cages, and these kids, okay, first off, the majority of the kids who are held in detention came here illegally because their parents sent them. They didn't come with them. Their parents gave them to another human being that they probably didn't know that well, and let that person who's a human trafficker, some of these people can be involved in some of the most heinous crimes, gave their child to that person, and then allowed their child to go on an incredibly dangerous journey to try to get to this country illegally, knowing full well that when their child arrives here illegally, they're going to be subject to so much hardship because of the fact of their immigration status. So that's child abuse, in my opinion, on the behalf of the parents. And I'm sorry to get so heated about this issue, but this really, really ticks me off, the way that the media wants to spin this and act like they are going to cast President Trump in this light of being some sort of human rights abuser, when it couldn't be further from the truth. These people are criminals who are making criminal decisions to illegally enter our country. There is no other way to look at it. If you look at it any other way, then you're dismissing the underlying principles of law and order. Because that is what's at stake here. It's not about whether we feel bad for the people coming across the border and whether a small minority of that block of kids that are being held in detention have to be separated from their parents who have chosen to come with their children illegally across the border, thereby making them criminals. And when you commit a crime, there are consequences. But it just eludes everyone. You hear the press conferences where they're talking about, I heard one this afternoon with Sarah Sanders and the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, and the questions the reporter were asking are ridiculous. Why doesn't President Trump sign or advise the border patrol to not enforce the law, basically? And you're sitting there going, if it, and President Trump, who God bless him, he makes the best points. Like I said, I've never seen anybody who's more able to convey an idea in 160 characters than President Trump. Here he says, children are being used by some of the worst criminals on earth as a means to enter our country. Has anyone been looking out or looking at the crime taking place south of the border? It is historic, with some countries, the most dangerous places in the world, not going to happen in the U.S. Yes, and then he says it right here. Change the laws. If you, and look at this person right here, these people are just beyond me for their lack of understanding of policies and issues. But change laws. If in fact we are all so outraged as a country that children have to be separated from their families when they with their parents choose to commit the crime of illegally entering our country, then go to Congress and change it. Don't expect us to give you an executive order out of the administration, or to give you some writ of stay for these children, or to do some sort of action that would have been taken by the other administration, by the previous administrations. This is not that administration. Donald Trump is running a different game here. His game is make Congress make lasting change. If you want to see this, and you really believe in these things that you're trying to say, and you believe it's some human rights abuse tragedy, that it's going to be, worse than the thousands of people dying in the Middle East every day, or the thousands of people across the world who are being put into human trafficking and sex trafficking and all that stuff, then please, by all means, go change it. But until then, don't try to gaslight the president into this corner that he's some sort of human rights abuser. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's undue, and it needs to stop. And these media need to get their head out of there. Because that's where they've had their heads firmly placed for the last, I don't know how long, and it's getting frustrating on my end because I have to sit here and clean up the mess that they make every day. That's all I do. I come in here and I clean up messes, the mess that the media has done in destroying our country through their lies and propaganda and disinformation. So I had to get that out, guys. It's just been bothering me, and I want to see change, and I'm going to keep reading the Q post. So the next post, it says, what a wonderful day. Eric Schmidt in the front row. Google Access kills JC in the brackets here. Happy hunting D. And it gives an article here to The Hill, and it's a link to a actual video that we're going to watch really quick. Clapper hopes Mueller will end Russia probe. Let's hear what James Clapper has to say with regard to the Russia Mueller probe now. This came out today.
Well, I think the overarching point here is that this whole issue has got to come to resolution. At some point, Special Counsel Mueller and his team, I hope, will wrap up the investigation and clear the air one way or the other whether or not there was a collusion with the Russians. This is a cloud that's hanging over the country and certainly hanging over this presidency, and I do hope that happens, and soon.
So there you have it, and the article just goes on to basically reiterate that. Interesting at the last part of the article here where it says that, and Clapper said the Weekend reports that Trump's friend Roger Stone had a contact with a Russian figure during the election was just more evidence of, quote, these frequent meetings between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. You guys, they have to drop this. This whole Russia thing has become insane, okay? None of the premise or plot to the Russia collusion theme would work if you actually play it out. What is the purpose? What, they've infiltrated to make America great, to lower unemployment and increase GDP and increase oil production and increase our economic strength and to create trillions of dollars in wealth? Yeah, oh man, I hate Russia for that. If that's what they did, I'd rather see depression and high gas prices and bedlam and mayhem in the cities. No, I mean, guys, that's the whole point. The whole point is that I think Q's pointing us to say that is what, but now we're reading in context with this, okay? So pain, Q. So 3 things are going to come, and they're going to be painful. I have a feeling, because, Q gives us these messages when he does it like that. He does it with booms, too. I don't think I've ever seen one with pain like this, but usually they correlate to a number of things coming. So this may correlate to 3 events that are going to be coming that are going to bring pain. Now, who are the 3 individuals mentioned in this? Basically, you have Eric Schmidt, Google, and there's a debate here whether this is James Comey or James Clapper or a judicial committee. I mean, they don't even know. But I'm pretty sure in my initial take that this is referring to James Clapper because he's mentioned right here in the very next one, and it's putting him in a kill box, which is the brackets. That's just the phrase used to describe brackets around a word, and not meant to be taken literally, obviously. But it is a description that maybe politically he's going to be indicted, or he's going to be exposed, or something's going to happen, because Q told us that he's accessed Google. He showed us the pictures of his guest badge and his obviously being on the Google campus. So obviously he's been there. I don't know what he did while he was there, but to have him say that Google access kills, that he keeps saying in like, look at the bold words here. Eric Schmidt, Google kills, right? And then JC. So did they get rid of James Clapper as far as like they gave him the freedom to get out of their from under their thumb? Is that what Q did? Did he go over there and expose whatever Eric Schmidt blackmail had been going on back there, allegedly? So listen, there's so much to this story, but I'd love to hear your take. I really look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts in the comments, your thoughtful responses to what this is saying. And again, they say D again here, and I'm thinking Devin Nunes, which would make sense as well, given the fact that Devin Nunes has been one of the leaders in exposing all this. So, you guys let me know what you think. There's could be another meaning to the word D, and I would love to hear your thoughts on what that is. So you guys just let me know in the comments. And obviously, like I said, the pain 3 times could be referring to 3 instances, or there's going to be a reference to 3 coming up in the future where 3 things are going to happen. Last time was with the 4 booms that seemed to correlate directly with the 4 points in the North Korean denuclearization summit agreement that was signed by Kim Jong-un and President Trump, where it was saying that they would denuclearize the country. A historic deal, mind you, which President Trump has gotten no credit for, which is sad. I mean, if it was anyone else, if it was President Obama, would have a global parade. There'd be, wall-to-wall news coverage for probably weeks on end, and they'd probably give him another Nobel Peace Prize. And I don't know if they can make up an award bigger than the Peace Prize for him, but they probably would try. Now, the next couple posts start with this one here on the right. It's an ANON who posts, and Q is featuring this post saying, and the post says from the ANON, well, it's pretty cryptic, so here's a wild guess. D equals the Demerge. Just kidding. I don't know. Someone involved in space programs, a Majestic 12 type of intel. Morning sun brings heat. Predetermined code command for initiation of a plan authenticity check. Likely multiple governments are responding to this call for initiation, hence dropped here. Full moon coming. Proper revelation of nature of the moon and other bodies in our solar system. Undiscovered stars learned. This refers to gifted anons figuring something out, which was the condition upon which something about our solar system or moon would be revealed to the public. Missions forward. A particular plan for missions is being initiated. Proceed, impart a message to anons. Q. And that's Q, not from Q. That's Q, him just finishing Q's post that we're talking about here. Q responds, though, to this particular post saying, ability to share, in brackets, open, heat in parentheses on who, full in parentheses, transparency, declassified, undiscovered in parentheses, facts emerge, ability to move forward, Occam's razor, Q. And for those of you who don't know, we're going to talk about Occam's razor first because it's going to make a lot more sense when we look at decoding this. But it says Occam's razor is the problem-solving principle that when presented with competing hypothetical answers to a problem, one should select the answer that makes the fewest assumptions. Well, I think the reason Q's pointing that is that we need to read this a little bit more literally without taking so many assumptions as this Anon seemed to have taken here with his interpretation, which was a valid attempt at it. But Q's saying, just let's not get too far out there with the guessing games. Let's try to stick with the one that makes the least assumptions, which would be basically just saying that it's heat on the people. I mean, this is exactly what it was. The morning brought the heat. That's what we brought. We had these press conferences, we had these hearings, we had Inspector General Horowitz in front of congressional committee, along with Director of the FBI, Director Wray. Full transparency. They're basically they're showing what it is. It's all been declassified, so they're gonna keep telling us more information as we go. And undiscovered facts emerge. So undiscovered stars, we're saying undiscovered facts. These are the facts that have not been brought to light yet. Although for a lot of us, some of it may seem like old news because we've been hearing about this for quite some time. It's saying ability to move forward. There's more to come. There's more to come. There's going to be criminal investigations. Hopefully there's going to be indictments of those who have been accused. And Occam's razor is just saying, look, don't take too many assumptions. Choose the hypothetical answer that uses the least amount of assumptions, and that would be basically just a direct read of the post here as saying that in the morning there was heat that was brought, the full moon coming, so full disclosure, undiscovered stars, so undiscovered facts, and the mission is going to move forward. That's the basic, and I think D is Devin Nunes still, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Now, the next one is one that we're going to go over real quick, where it says, did you know Q? And it gives a link to this article. What's this article? It says, Adam Schiff, deeply disturbing that FBI gave Nunes confidential info on Clinton's emails. The whole article outlines how Devin Nunes said last week that FBI agents gave him information about former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's emails, which were contained on former New York Representative Anthony Weiner's laptop in late 2016. Now, what's being said here, though, is that the whole story is about how Adam Schiff is so shocked and appalled that Devin Nunes would receive this confidential information, but it doesn't seem to ever faze him about the content of the information. So what is being actually given to Devin Nunes, which is the facts surrounding the Anthony Weiner laptop, where you have Huma Abedin storing 300,000 emails, some of which containing domains from the Clinton Foundation and ClintonEmail.com, and also containing classified information and apparently crime against children. So guys, listen, that's in the Inspector General's report. I'm not making that up, okay? But Adam Schiff, little Adam Schiff, oh gosh, that little slime ball Adam Schiff, he is telling us right now that he's just deeply disturbed that the field agents with Devin Nunes was sharing information, possibly even Rudy Giuliani as well. Listen, Congressman Schiff, please do me a favor, okay? Go back into whatever hole you crawled out from, and please remain quiet until this is over, because you, my friend, are going to be one of the many people who are exposed, and this is all said and done, for the things that you have done, and you know what they are, and that's why you're so vehemently fighting against it, because you know once you're exposed for the crimes that we all suspect you of committing, we don't have any proof yet, and we will give you the benefit of due process and all the rights afforded to American citizens under the Constitution. But listen, please, until this is all done, just stay out of it. Because do you really? I mean, you're fighting for your political career here, and even some would speculate your actual freedom. So I understand, but listen, you're on the losing side of this, and you're going to be better off just admitting what you've done and exposing all the people who are involved in it with you. Because as bad as you think it is to be blackmailed like that, if that is the case, the only thing that's worse is just continuing to dig yourself a deeper hole as you continue to do here. So that's what Q asked us, did we know? Okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, there you go. Now you know. Which connects to the next post, I believe, where Q is referencing an older post that he put up here saying, would you believe Hussein tried to call Kim prior to the summit? He did not have his updated phone number. 3 North Korean generals released, closed, in brackets there, closed the pathway for bad actors, Q. So like we said, the established the establishment of the facts around the situation are basically they're speculative at this point, but they go like this: that North Korea was secretly under the control of the CIA. How did they gain this control? They used the CIA to basically flip three very important generals inside of the Kim Jong-un regime who were basically acting as Kim's controllers. What was the purpose of Eric Schmidt's visit to North Korea quite some time ago? Well, it was to establish this Gmail dead drop accounts where and to pass along, I'm sure, information to Kim Jong-un on how to communicate through the back channels with the CIA, as in using the dead drop that they had created and used amongst one another here in the United States and abroad with other foreign actors, where, as I've said before, if you've ever used Gmail, you would know you can send email, but you can also make drafts, which would not be sent over the internet. You would think, right? But what they did is they would create an account and then they would share the login credentials, and then instead of sending emails across the internet, they would go into the account, write an email, and leave it in the drafts, and then the other person who would be receiving the message would go log into that same account and read the drafts, and then leave their own draft, so on and so forth, acting as a sort of dead drop. That's what I've put together so far about what the importance of Google and Eric Schmidt and North Korea is how that all is connected back to Hussein and his ability to have what's going on in there, to know what's going on in North Korea, and to have control through the CIA. So it says, audits catch the exchange regarding POTUS private calls with Kim, new number via iPhone. How did that particular senator know that kind of highly classified intel? Q. So what seems to be fairly obvious to me is that there's an exchange here being talked about between President Trump and Kim via an iPhone and the new number. But it's asking who or how did that particular senator know that kind of highly classified intel? Q. I don't know what this is referencing yet. I've looked at it. This is a new post that just kind of popped up while we were here, and I haven't been able to research that further, but if you guys want to look it up, I'm sure there's more context to it you can find. Obviously, we went over what this post was referring to. And the important thing to take away is that there's obviously some senator who had highly classified intel about the private calls between the President of the United States and Kim, and regarding the new number that President Trump has via an iPhone. So if you guys want to catch that, the audits out there, I'm sure we'll catch that in the next round, and we'll get that out in the next video. And you guys will be updated on what that is. But if you guys know it, let me know in the comments. I'd certainly appreciate it. So we're going to jump right to the next one. And an ANON post, and Q responds to the ANON post saying, the ANON says, Amanda Renta, what's her expletive? And Q responds, Amanda Renteria, bridge between Loretta Lynch, HRC, Q. So listen. Who is Amanda Renteria? Well, she is right now, she's an American political aide who is running for the governor of California. Yeah, exactly. So we're pretty much going to have to go ahead and say she should not win, and hopefully cannot win, because it's just more of these globalist cabal of their sycophant, psychopath, sociopath, pathological liars who literally get into their positions of power just to ensure that others can remain in power, and to advance these ridiculous initiatives that try to restrict the freedom of speech and the freedom of and all of our basic freedoms, and at the same time want to basically ignore the Constitution and rule based on feelings instead of facts and logic. They just want to say, oh, I feel like you're being mean, and that means that you're committing a microaggression, which means I can limit your speech. Or I feel that you're not being nice to all of the poor people who are just coming across our border looking for a better life. Well, they're criminals who are coming across the border illegally. I don't know of any other country in the world that just lets anyone walk across the border that wants to come in. Why should we do that? Is my basic point. And California is one of the worst offenders when it comes to it. So Amanda Renteria and her liberal biased agenda needs to be voted down and out of the running for California governor. But that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, that's not an endorsement of Amanda Renteria. Be quite the opposite. But if you guys want to do more research on her, I guarantee you there's more connections there to be made that we're going to look at in upcoming videos where we're going to talk about the connection between Loretta Lynch and HRC. But that is pretty much it for now, except for this latest post from Q right here, which we're going to read. It's pretty basic. Q just posted a clip of an ANON who says, why wasn't HRC prosecuted for the emails? Put simply, Obama ultimately okayed by using the non-governmental email additionally to communicate with Clinton. Obama also had an alias along with each of his cabinet members. Therefore, indicting HRC would lead to indicting Obama and his cabinet, etc., which could never happen. Remember, he lied about knowing, but that ultimately came out in the dump. Poof. And there you have it. I think that ANON sums it up pretty well. And it's sad, and it's very unfortunate. But basically, all this classified redaction, all the reason that nobody wants to talk about the emails is because the people who are involved in sending these emails are the top of the government. We're talking about the President of the United States involved with Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, in this illegal use of a non-governmental email server, which ultimately was used allegedly by the Clinton Foundation to sell special access program information to foreign countries through taking donations to the Clinton Foundation and then in exchange storing classified information on outside unsecured private servers, which could be easily hacked. And once they were made known to the foreign actors, they could just go in and get whatever they wanted as far as state secrets go. So that's what we're being told here. This is a part of the story that continues to develop, and I will keep you apprised to every detail as we keep going through this. But I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here today. Now, a couple quick announcements. I've been making these announcements. Some of you, this might be a repeat. Some of you not. For those of you who don't know, first of all, I am speaking in Washington, D.C. on a panel at the American Priority Conference this September 6th through 8th. If you want more information, come over here to my Twitter page at Justin_formed, and it's the pinned tweet up here. You can get all the information if you want to join that conference and get involved. There's going to be a lot of incredible people there. So many great, well-known personalities that you guys probably know from all over YouTube and other platforms will be there, and I'm just very blessed and honored to be able to participate. And I would love to have the opportunity to just talk about these ideas and to take questions from you guys and see what you guys want to know. What are the important things to you? Because that really is important to me. And also, help create justinformednews.com. This is my GoFundMe I've set up to build this website. This website is going to basically act as a way for me to get around YouTube censorship, and I'm going to post all my videos, host all my videos there. I'm going to post, or hopefully post articles and content, and I'm going to build out a platform so that I can always give you information for free no matter what. So it's not going to be like a pay website. It's going to be all free. And I just really want everyone to come and check it out. And come check out this at gofundme.com/justinformedtalk, or go to GoFundMe and you can search Justin Formed Talk. I'll leave a link in the description. But thank you to everyone who has contributed. At this rate, we'll be at the $5,000 goal in no time. And all that money is going to pay for buying the domain, getting the hosting, getting the website built, all of that stuff. So if you guys keep contributing, it's going to make a huge difference. So thank you to everyone. And if you want to see that alternative website put up there where we go around the mainstream media and give you the real news, please come here and contribute. So I thank you to each and every one of you. Now, that's great. Those are the quick announcements. But if you're looking for a way to help the channel specifically, the easiest and best way to do it is to come here to this landing page. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when these videos get posted. That's the easiest way to help the channel out. It's free to you, and it's like throwing me a buck, and I really appreciate it. So just go and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. It makes a huge difference. The second best way you can contribute is to scroll down at the end of this video and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comments, because like I say, we do our best to have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos where we talk about all the different theories and all the stuff in the news and how it all correlates and what Q's may be trying to tell us, and we kind of break down the posts further. And I'm definitely going to be looking forward to reading through those later. And if you're looking to support the actual page financially, the best way to do it is to come over here to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. You search Justin Formed Talk, come here to this landing page, click this button to become a patron. This Patreon page is what keeps the channel alive. So thank you to everybody who has been continuing to contribute and keep, because I couldn't afford to do all this without the help I get from Patreon in order to create this content for free and do this 24/7, 365 for you guys. I don't take days off. I don't take breaks. Or I do, but seldom. And I do that because I want to bring you this information. I realize how important this information is for you guys to get on a daily basis. So Patreon is what helps me do that. So thank you in advance to everybody who comes over here to patreon.com and checks that out. That is really a big help to the website and to the channel here that we are doing. So before we go, I'm going to talk about the most important thing. And I want to talk about God. And I want to talk about how we are all warriors of Christ, and how is this described in the Bible? Is it described as being this abhorrently deplorable individual who goes out and is just barbaric? No, it actually gives us this beautiful way of looking at it, and I want to share that with you. So this is from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 and forward, and I just want you guys to listen to these words because they're so strong. I hope they touch your heart and try to teach you kind of what it means to be a soldier of Christ or a warrior of Christ in the world that we live in. And this applies to today's world just as it did back then. It says, finally, be strengthened by the Lord in his vast strength. Put on the full armor of God so that you can stand against the tactics of the devil. For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, powers of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavens. This is why you must take up the full armor of God, so that you may be able to resist in the evil day, and having prepared everything to take your stand. Stand, therefore, with truth like a belt around your waist, righteousness like armor on your chest, and your feet sandaled with readiness for the gospel of peace. In every situation, take the shield of faith, and with it you will be able to extinguish the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word. With every prayer and request, pray at all times in the Spirit, and stay alert in this, with all perseverance and intercession for all the saints. Pray also for me, that the message may be given to me when I open my mouth to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel. For this I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I might be bold enough in him to speak as I should. And I feel like that it applies to myself, but it applies to all of us. We all have to embrace this. This is what God wants us to believe. We're ambassadors of the Lord, and we're set in these chains, and the only hope we have is that God gives us the strength to be bold enough to speak as you should for him. And with every prayer that we put out there, we need to remember that God's given us these tools. If we embrace, he's given us these things to hold on to, the truth, giving us righteousness, giving us readiness for the gospel of peace, giving us a shield of faith that will extinguish the arrows of the evil one as they are flung against you, and the helmet of salvation, and the word of the Spirit, and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word. So remember that. You are completely ready for this battle against evil. You are completely ready to stand up and praise God and put him on high and put the evil to shame and bring light to the darkness, because God has already equipped you with everything you need. God has given you the ability to become a warrior of Christ, and you just have to embrace that in yourself and know, trust in truth, trust in righteousness, trust that God will shield you through your faith, and that the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word, will cut down any enemy who stands in your way. So with that being said, I want to let you know that God absolutely loves you, and that everyone should know that we are all soldiers of Christ, and we have all the tools we need to be that. They all exist within us since the beginning, and we just have to pray to God to reach out and say, God, please enact these things in me. Give me the truth. Give me the righteousness. Give me the readiness for the gospel of peace. Give me the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's word. Give me these tools, Lord, and make me strong so that I can go out and deliver a message of goodness and your message. So that's going to be it for this episode. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching. I'm sure there'll be more Q posts, so expect a video later tonight. But that's going to be it for now. Again, thank you for watching. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.